Epoch fragment detected. Designation: Alpha timeline collapse. Key figures: active Legion 3rd, House 300, Cyber Unit 400. Status: End stage conflict. Alpha protocol activated. Multi-timeline convergence. Imminent forces deploying across time strata.
Smoke still clung to the broken rooftops, winding through the shattered arches and scorched stone like a ghost unwilling to leave. The city stood, but only just, not proud, not victorious, simply standing. And in the end, that was enough. The battle was over. For now, from the high wall, the commander stood alone, wrapped in a torn cloak darkened by ash and blood. The weight of steel still hung on his shoulders, though the enemy had fled. Below him, soldiers moved like phantoms, gathering what remained of the dead, extinguishing the last flames, repairing what could be saved. What could be saved? He thought of the last 3 days, of the flanking charge from Britannia's cavalry. Swift and merciless, hammering the border like thunder, of the barbarians who had come not in ranks, but in waves, screaming through the trees, lighting fields and homes alike. Of the voices he would never hear again. "We should have fallen," he said aloud, though no one was there to answer. But they hadn't. The city had held. The army had bent, but not broken. And in the center of it all, through the chaos, the screaming, the collapse, he had stood. Not because he had any great strategy left, but because stepping back had never been an option. In the ruins, he saw the stories. The blood on the walls, the weapons left embedded in stone, the crushed shields at the gate. Every mark, a memory, every silence, an echo. It had taken everything, every last reserve, every trick he hadn't yet used, every ounce of faith from men too tired to believe, and now it was quiet. A strange kind of quiet, not peace. Never peace, but the kind of stillness that comes after pain. The stillness that asks, "Now what?" He descended the stairs from the watchtower slowly, nodding once to the guards who remained, boys who had become soldiers in less than a week. They saluted, but their eyes told a different story. Exhaustion, shock, relief. In the plaza below, broken banners hung limp in the morning breeze. He paused, looking up at them. His own sigil still flew, tattered, but undefeated. That, too, would be enough, for now. In the center of the square, a fire still burned, controlled, this time. Purposeful. Soldiers gathered around it, warming their hands, sharing quiet words. No cheers, no celebration. Just survival. The commander walked past them and into what remained of the council hall, a roofless shell, open to the sky. A map lay ruined across the table, soaked by rain, smeared with mud and blood. He reached down and tore away the soaked corners, until only the center remained the empire. The borders, the lines that still meant something. Barely. His fingers brushed over the northern coast, Britannia. So they had moved, after years of silence. They had finally made their play, and now that they'd shown their hand, others would follow. Others always did. He took a breath, steadying the weight in his chest. This campaign was finished, but the war would begin again. And when it did, he would be ready. They came fast. No warning horn, no formation, no honor. The cavalry thundered over the ridge like a storm made of bone and steel, their war cries lost beneath the drumbeat of hooves and screams. Before the Romans could even brace, the first javelins were already in the air, long black streaks slicing the sky like curses. They rained down like locusts. Then came the spears, then the swords, and then came the madness. "Hold the line!" the commander bellowed, his voice ragged from shouting. "Shields tight! Rear formations! Brace!" He saw it all from the heart of the second rank, behind the forward wall of shieldmen already splattered with mud and blood. His eyes scanned the chaos. The smoke, the flash of sunlight on steel, the sudden collapse of one flank. Spears wavered. A line faltered. He shouted again, "We are the Roman Empire! We are still here! You fight because you carry the weight of history on your shoulders!" No one answered, but they didn't have to. The Legion didn't need speeches now. They needed survival. Cavalry sliced through the edge of the left flank, driving into soft ground with a bone-crushing impact. The Romans held just barely. The formation adjusted. Auxiliary archers fell back, reloading as fast as their hands allowed. Ballista crews turned their towers like beasts, snarling in slow motion. All around him, blood, dust, death. Javelins still fell. Arrows still sang. The screams of men cut down too early in the day echoed against the hills. The enemy pressed harder. There were too many. But he wouldn't fall back. "Today is the day," he muttered, low and venomous, gripping the hilt of his sword so tightly his knuckles ached. "Today is the day we kill, kill, kill," one of the scouts had told him, only an hour before the first rider appeared, that the tribes across the river were massing. He didn't believe it at first. He had been too focused on reorganizing the supply lines, too tired of false alarms. And then the charge came. Fast, loud, savage. Now, in the center of it all, his mind boiled. Rage and memory spun together. He thought of peace, of the town behind the ridge, the children, the fields, the temples. All gone. If they failed here, this little bitch, he growled to himself, eyes locked on the enemy chieftain near the hilltop, shouting orders with bloody hands. "You've broken my peace." He raised his sword. "Show your hands," he roared. "Show me what they cost in death." Ha! And then he ran. Not back, forward, into the thick of it, into the mess and violence, into the maw of war. Because this was the Roman border, this was his line, his land, his burden. And today, like every day, they would remind the world, Rome still stands.
9 to 10, -18, -01, -25, -26. Classification. Level Omega. Epoch Threat Code. Victoria FNFTU. Delta Fund ID Tish. Lost History. Archive Access. Commander clearance required. Death.